Good morning in Southern California, AM 1220, KHTS. Joe's Fred Arnold on the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. I'm joined by Janet Demeter. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
You represent Jack's Angels Foundation, and I met you originally when you were doing the leadership program on Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce leadership program.
Yes, which was an excellent opportunity, by the way, for me to
get the word out about Jack's Angel Foundation.
Yes, absolutely. And it's because of the chamber and that program that I ended up meeting our Assemblyman, Scott Wilk, who was instrumental in helping us to raise awareness for our cause.
Oh, that's fantastic. Let's go back a couple steps. You moved to the Santa Clarita Valley after having some tragedy in 2008.
Yes. Strangely enough, we were living in Cagle Canyon, which is near Lakeview Terrace area, and it was the month before the big Sylmar fire, where it just wiped out all those mobile homes. A huge fire came across. They protected well Lakeview Terrace, but it just wiped through our canyon. And our house, though, was the only house in our canyon to get completely vaporized. So we lost everything. My husband and I were. We got together later in life. Neither of us have been married, so we have like an accumulation of 2 lifetimes of things, both for our work and for our future, and it was just gone.
Boom, gone. And so that's how you... Now, your daughter was 2 at the time.
Yes.
Your daughter is Sophie Marie, and your son Jack was born around that time.
He was only 6 weeks old when that happened.
And so then you relocated out to Santa Clarita Valley.
Yes, it took 2 months. We were living in a friend's studio space in the back of their garage with 5 horses across the way for 2 months.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a wonderful place we found. We felt really, really lucky, and we still love our place today.
Doing what you had to do. So then you had really something that really changed your life. And in October 28, 2011, Jack was 3 years old.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
One of the worst days of my life. Wow. Yeah, I had taken him that Monday into Children's Hospital because increasingly over the months prior, he'd been having these strange kind of neurological symptoms of I don't know what, and that scared me, and I intuitively knew something was terribly wrong. So we took him in, and it took 5 days for them to finally get to the MRI. They did every other test possible that was clean and not definitive in any way, and then I got called in by the doctors midway through the MRI, the doctors that had been helping us on the neurotrack when we were in the hospital, because they wanted to prepare me that my whole team was going to change. Now it was going to be oncology, because they wouldn't tell me what it was, but he had a mass in his brainstem, and I found out what it was. It's called DIPG, which is a short form of diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma. It's in the pons area of the brainstem, kind of like the grand central station of all the nerves in the brain, and that he would die. There was no treatment that could effectively save his life. We could slow it down and shrink the tumor with radiation, but no chemotherapy had been effective in treating it. So basically our decision had to be quality of life. And Jack,
so you and Barry had some really tough decisions to make.
Huge decision. Yeah, no pressure.
Right.
It's like that weekend, I didn't realize why it was so urgent. But when the symptoms are like that with DIPG, they're just weeks away from dying if you don't do something, because by the time that it's in the brainstem and it's making those first your small motor, then your large motor, then you end up that goes to respiration and heart, and you die.
So Jack, he lasted a little bit longer though.
Yes, he actually lasted the median time of survival, which is 9 months.
So he fought, right?
Yes, he did. He was such a sweetheart. He had the most gentle, loving soul. Definitely very much a little boy. But he was amazing. He lit up a room. He was so happy to get a little bit of time at the preschool, the special needs preschool at the Agua Dulce Elementary School. It just made his world, and his teachers too. So I tried to share him as much as possible when he was here.
What a great gift! When a time you could be completely selfish, you let him grow and let others experience him. So then you started the Jack's Angels Foundation in 2013 to bring awareness to to this particular, which is DIPG.
DIPG.
Yeah, cancer.
It's one of the most lethal cancers. It's responsible for about 80% of the pediatric brain tumor deaths every year. There are no survivors on record. Anyway, it doesn't mean there aren't any. I couldn't find any. And there's really been no progress in over 35 years of clinical record. There's been very little research effort. Unfortunately, and I didn't discover this until after he had died, but DIPG is one of the most common pediatric brain tumors. They said, oh, everywhere in the news, it's a rare brain tumor, rare brain tumor. Every pediatric cancer is labeled as rare. Right. And therefore, it only receives, of our taxpayer dollars that are set aside for cancer research, only 4% goes to pediatric cancer research. The most resistant and elusive of all cancers are getting the least amount of research, and our children aren't coming first.
So the 4% is going to pediatric or going to pediatric brain?
No, just pediatric cancer as a whole.
Wow.
So maybe 1% goes to brain cancer.
Got it, I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so a smaller percentage of that goes to it.
So fortunately, there's been a huge movement in the private sector, parents getting together. The Cure Starts Now, which is DIPG focused. Pediatric Brain Tumor Foundation's been around for 3 decades. They're making some strides, but I mean, it's a drop in the bucket. The government really needs to share more with our children, or at least decide to make a commitment to our children. If we can put a man on the moon in the 1960s, surely we can solve some of these riddles. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's talk about the purpose of Jack's Angels Foundation.
Right. It's to raise awareness, number one, for DIPG and pediatric brain tumors, to support those that are afflicted, and to contribute whatever we can to DIPG research and getting a focus there. What we did to start with the little that we had and was to the idea of having a DIPG research fund at Children's Hospital Los Angeles where Jack was treated that was specific for that tumor. And to also encourage that idea around the country, because wherever there's a local research institution for children that has a strong neuro-oncology department, to have a fund for that. Obviously, we can't do that, but at least to encourage others who can to do that. Yeah. And only to supplement what other parents are doing with the Cure Starts Now is there's a DIPG collaborative group of foundations getting together, pooling their money for research, which is an excellent thing as well. I didn't even know about them until after Jack died.
So that brings up also, and I'll just mention real briefly because we only have 2 more minutes, and that is, it's also Jack's Angels Foundation is to remember Jack.
Absolutely.
And all the kids that maybe don't have a foundation that parents could really identify with.
Yes, and in fact, I make a point of putting on angel wings with ribbons for as many DIPG kids as parents will give me names and their favorite color, just to raise awareness for it. It's my First Amendment right to say, hey, these kids need more.
Yeah.
So
that's beautiful,
though,
that you do that. Yeah. Let's talk about Art for Jack.
Yes.
And it's every springtime?
Yes, for Brain Tumor Awareness Month, which is May. And the idea of it also in our purpose is to support the arts for children and raising awareness for our cause. So we have 4 art workshops. We have a full concert from 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. with some amazing talented violinists, pianists, and other musicians, dancers. Yeah. And we have Escape Theater coming in to do a little Sound of Music.
Well, I'm going to take my daughter this weekend.
Oh, I'm so happy.
We'll be together. And, thanks for sharing and everything, Barry and yourself and your daughter have been through. Boy, the best we can do out there as listeners, if you're watching this online, hometownstation.com, it's important that we maybe attend, we encourage, and we contribute what dollars we can to really help this cause, because our children are our future.
Absolutely. And it's a happy celebration of these lives, these beautiful lives, that hopefully through what they contributed will help others to have a better
Well, it's crazy because I'm doing this, the walk on the same morning, the 3rd, the run.
Yes, I wanted to do it, and I can't.
For spinal cord injury.
Yes, I did that last year.
Yeah, I heard it's amazing.
It's awesome.
I'm only planning to run for 2 hours, though. I heard you could just run and run and run and run, and my trainer said, no, 2 hours max. So thank you for coming. And those that want to get more information about Jack's Angels Foundation or find information about your event.
The event webpage is artforjack.org. That's not with the number 4, but artforjack.org. And our main website is jacksangels.org.
jacksangels.org.
Yes.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Shannon. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you so much for your
Absolutely,
time.
absolutely. Well, I hope you enjoyed this past hour of the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce Business Spotlight. Joe's Fred Arnold on AM 1220 KHTS.